Hey y'all, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad we get hanging again today. Today I wanted to talk about my 7-step process for planning the upcoming month. I try to do this once a month, usually in the last couple days of the month, in order to prepare for the next month. And this process helps me set myself up for success in whatever month I'm going into. It helps me make sure that I am making progress towards the goals that I set at the beginning of the year. It helps me kind of re-evaluate where I'm spending my time, trying to figure out what I'm doing and what I can work on improving on, all that good stuff. I'm just going to dive right in onto my 7 steps. The first step is to fill out the monthly reflection questionnaire in the Passion Planner. This is my Passion Planner. If you don't have one, totally cool. You can just find various different kinds of questionnaires online that you can fill out. It's really just essentially looking back over your month, taking a look at how you spent your time. Was that a good use of your time? How well did you accomplish your goals? Were you happy with how the month went? Where would you like to improve? What lessons can you take? Etc., etc. I do know that if you want, you can use the Passion Planner monthly reflection. They have a free PDF download on their website in case you want to check that out and use that. But that's how I start, is I fill out that questionnaire and kind of get an idea of how the past month went, and what things are lacking, when things were improved upon, etc. It's just really helpful to go back through and see how far I've come in a few weeks. That's like really cool. Step 2 is to review how far I've come and identify areas that need continued work. Now this kind of just draws from the previous step, figuring out how the past month went. Did I make improvements in certain areas? If so, great. What were they? And then there may be some areas where I can use more work, or there might be goals that I thought I could accomplish in one month but really needed to be stretched out across several months. I need to figure out those areas so that I can make sure to put them in the next month's plan. So I make a note of those areas so that I can remember to include them as I'm planning out the next month. Step 3 is to take a look at my yearly goals and decide what steps I'm going to take in the coming month to accomplish those goals. This may be anything from go on a hike, or identifying how many posts I need to make for my social media, what book project am I going to focus on in the month, what will I be doing on that project, things like that. I will start identifying what steps I'm going to take to accomplish my overall goals. This also includes the things I identified in step 2, any things that were incomplete in the previous month. I will likely go and add them to the coming month, unless the coming month is very busy and I just don't have the time to focus on it, in which case I might put it on the back burner and decide another month to bring it back up. So that's step 3, is basically just identifying what steps I want to take next to accomplish my goals. And I will write those down all in my planner, in the Passion Planner. It has sections for personal goals and work goals. I try to keep those separate as much as possible, and so I'll write work goals down, personal goals down. It helps me identify where I may have an imbalance, because I can be a workaholic, so I may lean more towards work related goals, and having them separate helps me realize I need to spend a little bit more time in my personal life, building that out, making that a little bit more interesting and full and rich, instead of it all just being work. So it is nice having those divided out into 2 separate categories. Step 4, and this is just helpful for me, it might not be helpful for everybody, but I like to sometimes take one big goal that I may be super intimidated about and make a mind map of that. Essentially what a mind map is you write down the main goal in the center of whatever page you're working on, and then from that you make like spokes or something, and you write down steps that will lead you towards accomplishing that major goal. So for instance, when I started up my coaching business, I was about to set it up, get it ready and up and running, and that was a really intimidating goal for me. So what I did was, that was my major goal, but then I wrote down all the steps that I needed to accomplish in order to achieve that major goal. So things like get a logo, create the social media accounts, create a newsletter account, write up a contract, etc., etc. Those were smaller, more bite-sized steps to help me accomplish the overall goal of starting up my business. So if there is ever a goal in the month that is just super intimidating and I feel overwhelmed by it, I often will make a mind map to help me break it down into more manageable chunks. Step 5 is to determine my monthly budget for tutoring, which is my main money maker right at the moment. I get paid monthly, so usually I take a look at how much I've made in the past month and then break that down into my budget for the month. While it is not ideal to get paid monthly, it's what I'm working with, and so I usually will take that number and I will break it down into the categories, and then I manage that, and that's just really helpful to make sure I'm not overspending in certain areas, and making sure that I'm putting my money where it needs to go. Step 6 is to determine my social media posting schedule. This includes YouTube videos, Instagram posts, any posts I need to make for the Order of the Pen Press, any posts I need to make for SideQuest, business coaching, all of those things. I try to plan them out for the month so that I don't have to keep thinking about it. It's just done, it's ready. And then should anything come up, obviously I can scratch what I've come up with and put in the new thing, but typically I try to plan out a month's worth of content in advance. And then lastly, step 7 is to determine what area I would like to focus on learning during the month. Now, I am a believer that you never stop learning, even when you're out of school, and so I try to have certain areas that I like to focus on educating myself with. So this past month it was more lead magnets for newsletters and things of that nature. That was really helpful, and so usually I try to pick 1 or 2 areas that I would like to focus on educating myself, and this just really helps me make progress towards my goals in ways that I may not be super educated about. Dustfinger wants to pop in and say he's rooting for you on your monthly goals, and that he thinks that you're going to do amazing, and that you're perfect, and all that wonderful stuff. He says hi and bye, because he doesn't like being on my lap. So anyway, back to the original programming. Yeah, so basically I try to decide on 1 or 2 things that I would like to learn during the month, and make sure to set aside time in my month to educate myself and read resources or watch videos or whatever it is that I can find on that topic, and I like to work on learning more about that. So anyway, that is my 7-step process towards planning out the coming month. I hope it was helpful. If you found any of these tips or steps helpful for you, let me know down below. If there are any steps that you'd like to take to help you plan out your month, let me know down below. I would love to hear about them. I always like finding new things to incorporate into my planning methods in order to help me reach my fullest potential. So yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And I hope we can hang out again sometime soon. But until then, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye!